What's going on YouTube? It's Q back here again with another video for you. In today's video, I'm about to do the uncanny, the unpredictable, and I'm going to compare this base level Honda Civic Sport to my very fully loaded Acura Integra Type S. Why would anyone do this? Because some people aspire to have an Integra Type S, but I want to let you all know that the Honda Civic Sport is an extremely great value. So if you want to shoot for one of these but aren't quite there yet, then you can fall upon one of these and you can still feel okay about it. I would do it if the resources weren't there. I would definitely do it. So I'm about to compare the two in that aspect. Before you leave, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, browse the channel. Let's jump into it. Civic Integra Civic, siblings up under the Honda umbrella. So we got this, which was built in Ohio. I believe the Civic might be built in Indiana, but these two cars, they're based off of each other and they're slightly different. So if you don't know, this is a luxury version of that. So the Civic came out first as a 2022 model, and then we got the Integra that followed up as a 2023. So it came back to the market because it took like a 20-year hiatus, but the Civic has always been there. But I've spent the week with this Civic, and it is mighty impressive. I haven't even driven my Integra the whole time it's been parked up in the garage, or the Corolla for that matter, but get out of here. But this Civic, it really impressed me. Go check out the full review that I did on it. But I'm about to get to the comparisons, so let's get into the Integra, because I've had this car. I had a couple of Integras, had the 23 A-Spec manual technology package, and I got this one, the 2024 Type S, with a bunch of options on it. So moving on, let's talk about the steering wheels. So the Integra has 4 steering wheels. I kid you not, that's no exaggeration. So we got the one from the A-Spec or the regular Integra. We got this one in the Type S, which is the Alcantara. Then we got the basic, or not basic one, the stock one, which is perforated. And then we got a heated steering wheel. You can also get the heated steering wheel on the base Integra as well. So that's 4 different steering wheels for the same car. Let's jump to the Civic. This is what you get in the Civic. They're pretty much identical minus the badges on here. Like every button on the Integra, I'm so comfortable in this car because it's like the same button placement, so I know where everything is. So it's more of the same, but this is all you get. So moral of the story, the Integra gonna have more customization than this from the factory, that is, or at the dealership. Let's talk about the seats up in here. So these are cloth seats. The Integra is gonna have leather, but these seats are very well bolstered, extremely comfortable, and I'm gonna talk about the Integra seats in a minute. So we do have like a little line of leather going down here, the stripe in it, so they're not just plain seats. And then hopping into the back seat, we can seat 5 people in here. So we got a middle seat right here. So let's hop over to the Integra. These Integras have 3 different seat colors, in the Type S form and in the other Integra, the regular Integra form. So I got the red seats. You can get orchid, which is white, or you can get black seats. And these, man, these just do it for me. I had to get the red seats in them, the red guts. Ew. Shout out to Hunter Gang Nate and the rest of the men of culture. We got Race Car Friends and Blueprint Runner Lee. Go check them out on the featured channel sections on my channel. And then hopping into the back seat of the Integra, this only seats 4. So he got the cup holders and the actual, what would be the 3rd seat. So this seats less people than the base level Civic over there. Integra is going to have, well, this is another option. This is the titanium shift knob. You can get the basic shifter. Actually, I think it's right here. Couldn't figure out how to install it, y'all. I couldn't get this collar off, and I looked at a bunch of videos. I couldn't pull the collar off at all. So yeah, it looks like I'm stuck with that. It's cold outside, and that shifter gonna get cold. But this is what the base shifter looks like. Got some perforated hard plastic, leather, hard leather. I don't know, but I want this on there so it's not freezing my hand. In the Honda here, we have this leather shifter right here, and I actually prefer this shifter to the Integras because it's more bulky. Like the Integra is too narrow for me. I like to have a more beefy shifter. So this is a better feeling. Well, the shift knob, they're probably the same shifter, but they both shift amazingly. I like this shift knob in here, so I actually like driving with this shifter. Up under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2-liter engine with 158 horsepower. And on this one, we have a turbocharged 2-cylinder engine with 320 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. This has 138 pound-feet of torque. So this is why this car costs literally twice as much as the base Civic. So this car is $27,000, like $27,500, and my car as option was $58,000. The base price is $52,000, so it's literally double the price. But looking up under the engine, it is a lot of space up under here. And I know the Honda community likes to do modifications, so whatever modifications are available, knock yourselves out. But my car, it is already done up and dressed up under here. You see the nice Acura with the carbon fiber going on the engine cover, and I got a Peppa Pig power in my engine, so that helps with the swoosh noises and all that. You don't get those swoosh noises over there, but you do get it over here. So this is where the huge difference is going to be at. And even though my car costs twice as much, it's still standing up with the prop rod. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, prop rod. Exterior, we got the Sport has like the black surround. We got the huge mesh grill going on. We got the black mirror caps, and on mine we got the huge grill for all the cooling that I need for that turbocharged engine. We got extra cooling for the ventilation coming from the engine right here. The Civic has black mirror caps. The Integra has like two-tone, it's like black at the bottom, but I got carbon fiber covering it because you can actually see the white coming through here. It's two-tone, so this gives it a sporting appearance. That gives it a sporting appearance as well, but you got to pay for it. And those things are a few $100s. See, we got the aluminum pedals down there, so we know this is a sporting nature. But the rest of the interior, I want to talk about these vents with the honeycomb mesh going on right here. I really like this design, and it looks better in the Civic than the Integra to me. Also, you miss out on a lot of features. Like I got a wireless charger, but I'll show you that in the other vehicle. We don't have drive modes here. We just got economy mode, auto start stop, and brake hold, brake release, park brake. Something I do appreciate about this car more than the Integra, this, whatever this material is right here, makes some kind of swooshy noise when you rub it. It is like a matte-ish black. So not being piano black, there's no glare on it, and this is great material to have. So even though the light is kind of messing it up, this is a better material for just the functionality of the car, so the sun's not beaming into my eyes. And then the rest of the interior, it is cloth, and this is barely soft, but that's yeah, this is Civic. Hard plastics up here, very hard plastic right there. But where you touch your, well, this is actually still pretty firm. The armrest, that can be firm as well. I haven't noticed any discomfort driving it the whole week, so I don't know, it's all right. The Integra, see your door, soft touch leather right here. This is also leather, softer than what's in the Honda. And also we got this extra trim going around, Type S exclusive. Then we got this leather armrest here. So this is much softer than what's in the Civic. But also, I don't have the auto stop start in here because we're already like kind of doomed when it comes to fuel efficiency. And then we got our individual mode where we can set it up to like customize the driving experience. If I want the steering, suspension, the engine power, so I can customize that to my liking. Or we got Sport Plus, and normal or comfort modes in here. So that's all customizable. And in the Integra, we do have this wireless charger here, and we got wireless CarPlay, which is it's only powered by USB in the Civic, which I forgot to mention. But other than that, like I was saying, this piano black right here, it'll really glare, and certain times of day it's going to blind you. So the material that's used in the Civic over there is better than the piano black. And even this brushed or plastic, whatever that is, that, because it's black in the Civic, that's better, because this also blinds me too. So my whole center area is just blinding me while I'm driving. As I mentioned, the mesh grills, I like how it goes all the way across the Civic. Actually, this looks like the material that's in where the shifter is surrounding that in the Civic. We need this material down here. The whole instrument panel cluster in here, fully digital. Let me let that thing illuminate. Digital gauges. And then we got the infotainment screen right here, all touchscreen. ELS, this thing's amazing, and I'm gonna talk about the audio in the Civic as well. The infotainment in the Honda takes a lot faster to start up because I done edited this because it took like 20 seconds to start up. It normally doesn't take this long, but we only got a couple buttons here. We got our skip track, volume knob, back button, home button. Let's see what it's like in the Civic. And the screen is bigger. This is 2 inches larger, so this is a 9-inch display versus a 7-inch. Let's turn her on. Get this dash illuminated. So it is only digital on the left side. The right side is analog. You can customize what's on the left side with the steering wheel buttons here. Choose whatever you like to. But then this display right here, it is a little bit smaller, so the screen only goes out to this much, whereas in the Integra it goes out the full length of the screen for the most part. Then we got two buttons over here. I guess this would be a tuning button. Then we got volume knob. We got skip buttons on the bottom, phone, radio, media. This is where you would do your wire or your wired CarPlay by USB. Back button, menu button. So it's more buttons up here as opposed to what we got in the Integra. The sound system in here is quite good. It's not as good as the ELS because that thing is superb, but this is really good for a base level audio. I was impressed by this. We got a rear wiper on the Civic. The Integra does not have a rear wiper. And then the Practicality. So this thing looks like a shrunken Accord Cross Tour, and that's a ding for me because the Integra, the profile on here is much sleeker and it looks much better. But this is still a very practical car, and it can be more practical depending on how you see it because the roof on here looks to be higher. But looking up in here, let me do this. The floor in here is much deeper. Like the Integra seems a lot more shallow, so this holds a lot of space. It's more, you can stack things up higher than you can in the Integra. And you got an incandescent bulb right there, zinger. Coming over to the Integra, we got an LED bulb over there with a subwoofer. And then the floor, it looks to be longer back here, but I feel like you can't stack things as high because looking up, we got this cover for the window, and it's not, you're not going to be able to stack things up as high. And I've noticed that doing my grocery shopping in the Civic. But that slope line, that body line looks better on the Integra, so it's more sexy. The Civic does have the black wheels that comes on the sport trim. I like those. And the Integra, it has a couple sets of wheels. These are my optional wheels, the copper ones, and they're very dirty. But I'm about to be putting on my granite set of wheels, put them on all seasons or winter tires really soon here. Goodyear Eagles on here all seasons. Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. So this is a track car. This is a real track car. They can call this the Integra Sport. Maybe that's what the Type S stand for. The Sport. You see what I'm doing. Can't forget the diffuser and the exhaust. Got this triple outlet down here. Let's have a diffuser on the Sport model. Maybe you can see an exhaust tip. It'll be a single outlet. You need to get the 1.5 liter to get the dual exhaust. That's fine on the Sport Touring. It's 30 degrees out here. You about to be dead in a minute, Mr. Wasp. I got a blind spot money. Efficiency, the Type S loses. You can see I'm at 18 miles per gallon, but it looks like I filled up the last time I drove. Only got 16 miles on here, but I normally do like 19, 20 on here in my mixed driving. Let's see what I got over in the Civic. So I noticed that they reversed the gauges up in here. So the fuel economy and RPM was on the right side in the Integra. But here in the Civic, my mixed driving is 25.6 miles per gallon. So we're doing like 6 miles per gallon, 6-7 miles per gallon better up in here from me driving the same routes that I normally drive. And I know it's not the most accurate way to test, but and this car is just still getting broken in, just barely broken in. We just got 530 miles on here, so it will improve as the mileage goes higher. Getting into the back seat of the Integra, I'm gonna whack my head getting in because this roof line is really low slung, so gotta bend that thing to get in the back seat. And once you're back here, it's roomy, and it's gonna be quite similar in the Civic. Just looking at the back of my seat, I don't even have a map pocket over here, but I got one on the passenger side seat, something I never noticed before. So let's go to the Civic. Getting into the Civic, and watch my head again. So it's much easier to get into the back seat of the Civic. Like I told you, it's got that Accord Cross Tour like roof line or silhouette, so it's much easier to get in here. This is a more practical shape, and that's why like in the trunk back there or in the hatch area, it seems more practical. Even though the Integra is a longer car, the shape of it kind of makes it less practical, depending on what you put back there. So it is longer back there, but not stacked as high. But I think you get more usability out of being able to stack things higher in the Civic as opposed to the Integra. And like I said, no map pockets on either seat back here. But it's equally as roomy in both. So same seating position. Actually in the Integra, I don't even think my knees rub the seat. So it's a little more leg room in the Integra than the Civic in the same seating position sitting behind myself. Talk about driving on the Integra. So the Integra does have adaptive dampers, so I can adjust my dampers to be soft or very firm if need be, and it's going to be more comfortable than the Civic. And it doesn't have any adjustability. It has just the regular dampers on there. And driving this car is really meant for the track. It's a street car, but it's really meant for the track, and you won't be able to eke out all the performance unless you drive it on the track. That's where you're going to see the Integra shine at. If you haven't taken it to the track, I urge you to do so, because it's going to be a completely different beast on there. Like, it really shocked me and wowed me how it drives on the track. And then we got the LSD in the front, the limited slip differential. The Civic Sport doesn't have that. You got to step up to the SI to get that. You will notice that when you're trying to accelerate out of a turn, the Integra is just going to pull if it doesn't understeer, depending on when you do it. If you know what you're doing, you're not going to pull to a side like that. It does torque steer. I haven't noticed torque steering here, but just trying to power through a turn is going to pull harder with the LSD than not having the LSD. And it's obvious this car is faster, a lot faster, because of the power difference, the weight difference. I know this car is like 3,200 pounds. I actually don't know how much this weighs. I'm going to guess around 3,100 pounds. But driving the Civic, it really wowed me. So it handles really well. Like on street driving, it handles just as well as the Integra in my normal driving. I'm not talking about no track type maneuvers, but normal driving, taking curves at higher speeds than I normally would. This chassis is magic on both cars. The same chassis, and Honda did an amazing job with that, and that's where it's going to shine at. So, do we got fog lights on here too, and not on mine? Just notice that. And my illuminated badge, all kinds of options. Not going to talk about that. But just driving this thing is a much better. The consumables on the Civic is going to be a whole lot cheaper. Like these all season, we got 18s on here as opposed to the 19s, which are on rubber bands basically. Potholes, I got to beware of those. Like, I can drive the Civic more carefree. Gas is going to be a lot cheaper. We got regular versus premium, simpler engine, just a regular 2-liter versus a turbo engine. And man, I got nothing but positives to say about this car. With all that being said, the Civic is a whole lot of a better value than the Integra. I always say my Integra was a terrible value, horrible value even, but this Civic is an amazing value. I could have had 2 of these for the price of 1 of those, but they're 2 different animals for 2 different people possibly. You can modify this to be similar. Like if you want to get your suspension in order, get stickier tires, you can add you an LSD if you please. Tuning, I don't know what that's going to be like, but you know your options out there. If you're in the Honda community, you know what you can do with those options. If you want to save a huge amount of money, go with the Civic, modify it to your desire. It's got cheap consumables. Insurance should be cheaper. Insurance varies from place to place. We got 2 attractive cars, base model versus top level of what this chassis can do, Civic versus Integra. And you can always change this comparison. You can step up to the Sport Touring. This is the base Sport. Or if you don't want a manual, because you can only get the manual on the Sport trims, you can get the EXL, and that has the CVT. But for me, I always want the manual, and you can get the CVT on the regular Integra. The Type S is manual only. And you can also step up to the Civic Si, which is basically what the base Integra is with the 1.5-liter turbo. And it has 200 horsepower as opposed to the Sport Touring has the 180. And the suspension is a whole lot firmer on the SI. So you got a whole lot of options with both of these cars. But I'm just letting you know what you get from the lower trim of the manual, or the lowest trim of the manual, to the highest trim with the manual. That's all I got for you all today. Most people say guys wouldn't cross out these 2 cars. It's happening out there, believe you me. Like, actually, shout out to my guy Robbie. He actually has a Sport Touring with the manual, and he's also cross shopping one of these. So it happens. Like, I don't know why people say you can't cross shop certain cars. I've cross shop boats with cars before. I don't care. Trucks with cars, trucks with motorcycles. No, just kidding. I don't like trucks, boats, or motorcycles. But you can cross shop anything, man. It depends on if you want to save money or not. What can you afford? What can't you afford? What do you want to pay? Do you want to save? Do you want to modify? Do you just want to keep things more towards stock? So the choice is yours. I'm just laying it out there for you to make the decision. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next one.